And we're live. Welcome to another exciting episode of Getting Lit with me, Tommy. Today we are going to be having a look at the Jim Beam Black Extra Aged Bourbon. It's not the most expensive stuff, but it was a gift and I appreciate it. So, let's dive in. Now, let's just, first off, cheers. Thanks for showing up to the stream if you're here early. And if not, well, if you're here later, cheers anyways. Let's do this one. Clink. All right, so today, for the lighting situation, we've got a couple of usuals here. We've got the Lupo Super Panel Full Color 60 with a grid down at about maybe 1.5% power, just to kind of give me a little bit of fill light over here. We have the wall-mounted ceiling area Intellitech LC120, which has kind of become a staple in my home studio setup, and I still use that as my work light. When I'm just working in here writing code or editing, it's just convenient to just have that one on the light switch, turn it on, ready to go, high quality light. I'm always in a hurry, so it gets used a lot in these streams. Then we have the Aperture Nova behind me, blasting me with some nice white light, and the Kame TV Bolton Andromeda Slim Tube over there, just casting a nice little orangey yellowy hue behind me. And that is going to sum up the light this evening. For the camera setup, we have the Lumix GH5, old and golden camera right in front of you for the A-cam today. For the desk cam, we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Of course, the RED Komodo, I don't care how you say it, handle, a bunch of the accessories. And this is the Sony a7S III over here with the 24-70 f2.8. And then over here on the probe lens floating camera, we have the Rhino Arc II with the setup that I just went over in my most recent video, which is how I built this kind of crazy, floating stand with the Arc II and the probe lens and the Sony a7S III and the wireless transmitter. That's on the probe lens, and you'll notice if you're familiar with the probe lens and you haven't watched my most recent video, you know that you need crazy bright lights to use the probe lens, but I've got the same lighting for all of my cameras. That's because I have the a7S III on the probe lens. Even though it's at f14, we are using it at ISO 12800. So we're able to mitigate a lot of the issues that the probe lens introduces with having to buy really expensive and really bright lights. And it makes it easy to pair it with a lot of other cameras, kind of like in a live stream situation like this, where I wanted to have a really cool floating lens shot with a lot of stuff in focus. This is cool. I like this. And so we're over here with just the same lighting setup. All right, let me get this chat up so we can say hello to you beautiful people that have joined already. There we go. Thanks for showing up, Nils, as always. Tommy, nice. Got another Tommy in here. That guy knows how to name himself. Good job. SinX, what's going on, dude? Greetings from Germany. Well, thanks for showing up. Greetings from Los Angeles. We got Flalak. I think I pronounced that super wrong. Cheers. Boom. Nils. Hi. Nash Dishland, I think. I don't speak German. I know like 3 or 4 words in German, but I'm probably going to mess those up. David Gonzalez doesn't see anything. So his camera's probably, his monitor's probably broken. Nils, speaking German. I don't speak that. I should turn on Google Translate. Bart Johnson, thanks for showing up. Let's see. You want that probe lens, dude. The probe lens is really where it's at. And thank you, David, for the heads up that it's working now. And Roland, everyone should hit thumbs up and raise the visibility of the stream. Dude, I appreciate that. Yes, smash that thumbs up button. All right, speaking of German stuff, accessories, things that you need to use high quality cameras, and Sachler. I'm never going to pronounce it right, and that's okay because, again, I'm not a paid professional. This is just for fun. So after 90 days, the Sachler tripod, the Flowtech 75, has finally shipped from B&H. It took 90 to 91 days of back order, and I think that it's because I ordered it during one of their deal zones for, it was like $500 off, so it was $1,000 even. I think I was like in the very back end of that, of the line. So I got, 90 days. It's finally on the way. It'll be here tomorrow, I think. Pretty excited about that. Another interesting, so after that deal zone ended, there is a guy who runs this group buy site. It's a Syndicate List, and his name is Travis. He's awesome. He had another group buy for Sackler's tripods, and so it was the same price. And also you could get one of their fluid heads. And in fact, he sent me over this guy. Yeah, we got it. Because I wanted to get in on the group buy, but I had already bought one, and I wanted to talk about his group buy situation. And I have a huge tripod showdown coming up, and I have the Ace M, and I have the FSB8, but he sent over an extra Ace XL. And so we're going to compare all of those tripod fluid heads and the Flowtech 75 and some of the older CF Flowtech legs. But once you start getting into big boy heavy cameras, which the Komodo is not. It is not a big boy heavy camera unless you rig it out like a big boy heavy camera. It's a little cube, and just like every other camera, once you start putting on a bunch of lenses and a bunch of matte boxes and monitors and microphones and transmitters and things, it starts to get heavy. And so maybe you need a heavier tripod, or maybe you can get by with one of the little Ace series. Maybe, I don't know, we're going to test it once it gets here. But I can't do that because my Komodo, the order that I placed on late October, I think it was October 27th, has just gotten delayed again, and it won't ship until the middle of January now. And so I've got all these awesome accessories, right? So this is my first RED. Let's pretend, right? Let's pretend that I'm shooting with it. It's really cool. Look at this, guys. Let's go to this one. Yeah, look at that. Woo, RED. Yeah, awesome. So I get to play pretend for the next month with all these accessories, but let's talk about what accessories I ended up going with and why I went up with those accessories. Well, I went with this handle because it's the RED's handle, and it's, this little handle, all it has, the only mechanical function it has is a record button. Because of that, I think that's why it's $500. But it's also got the rubber. None of the reviews that I've seen of, let's see if we can get over here, of this little handle, right? None of them really describe what it feels like. It is like it's like a rubbery, super, really thick but firm rubber. When you grab it, it feels really, really nice in the hand. And this button is extremely hard to press. Like, you really got to put your thumb down in there, so your thumb is not going to slip and accidentally stop recording. You've really got to press it, which I actually I appreciate. And so it feels nice. It's definitely not worth $500, but it says RED on it, so I guess there's that. So I'm excited to tear this thing apart. I have another cage coming from 8sin. That one was $200, and it's got like a cool little top handle thing. That is going to ship sometime this week. But the thing that I'm most interested about was the media. So I got a bunch of CFast cards. Of course, I had to get the ones, just dropped $500 of CFast cards. So these are the 256 gigabyte Angel Bird cards, the ones that are rebranded by RED also. I didn't get the RED ones, but I just ordered these directly because they also had a kit with SD cards that I'm using with A7S3s. The thing is, there's another company, Silicon Power, and they have a 512 gigabyte card that you can get for literally half the price. So these two cards, you can get two 256 gigabyte cards or one 512 gigabyte card from this other company for exactly the same price. Or, you know, so it's basically half the price. If you went for the 512 gigabyte Angel Bird card, it's $256, $259, or you can get two of them for $259 from this company. Now, Red says on their site that these cards are not supported and they'll damage the cameras, only the 256 gigabyte cards. And so I'm interested in what they mean by that. And I talked to Silicon Power about it. And apparently, the larger the card, the faster the bit rate, or the faster the data transfer can go. And so they can get by with their less expensive technology and still achieve the data rates for all of the raw formats and stuff. And the only reason Red says you can't use them or they'll damage your camera is because you can't record at the maximum bit rate and the maximum settings of the Red camera. Of course, I don't know anything about any of this stuff. I've never recorded Red. I've never worked with Red RAW. So I'm excited to see how big these file sizes get, how difficult they are to work with, how they are to color grade, as opposed to something like working with the Sony a7S III or the GH5, which I've recorded in 8-bit for the past several years. So that's the media. The media, if this card works out, you'll pay literally half price instead of going with the Angel Bird cards. So I'm excited to test that out in January. The next thing is SDI and getting the signal into live streaming, because of course I do these live streams. I want to live stream with the Red because nothing says Red owner operator like live streaming in like 720p or something. Let's see where these comments are at. See if anyone's saying hello. And let's have a little sip. Macro videos and photos from Nils. And getting into spaces you usually cannot. The probe lens is even waterproof in the front. Yep. It also has little LEDs on the front. I don't use them because they have a really poor CRI, TLCI. They have like a green LED flash like cast to it, and I just think they're ugly, so I don't generally use them, which is nice to have all these other lights. So there you go. That's why I haven't even turned these lights on. Every video I've seen of them, they just look like really poor quality lights. Sorry to hear about the Komodo, Tommy. Thank you, Pixelator. Me too. I heard about it just this morning. Or maybe it was last night. Let's see. Chadwin, nah, it's because it's $500. It's $500 because it's Red. Yeah, you're probably right. David, why is this the last show? Takes a drink. I think that you tuned into the wrong stream. The previous stream was my last Wednesday stream. Maybe I messed up the title. I don't know. I think that, yeah, whatever. My last stream was on Wednesday. I said it was the last Wednesday stream that I was doing. Oh, I see what you're doing. You want me to take a drink because you say, why is this the last show? That whole game we played last time. I get it. Okay. Apple Tax, Red Tax, they're synonymous. You know, Apple Tax, it's not so much a thing anymore if you consider the M1 chips and the performance you're getting and how it's cheaper than like all the other equivalent builds. Apple Tax, I think, was just Intel tax because they don't have to pay licensing on all of the Intel technology, Intel chips anymore. Since they have their own licensing and their own chips, they can afford to lower the prices because they're not paying licensing to Intel anymore to use those chips. So that Apple Tax has gone away. However, they did just release these stupid headphones that cost $500, so maybe I'm wrong. Pixelator, true, but you get what you pay for. You know, I'm telling you, man, this handle feels really good. It does not feel like $500. Like, come on. But it feels good. Like, I know that if I pick this up somewhere, I'd pay at least like $80. That's pretty good, right? Plus, it's red on the bottom, so when it's, even though it's going to be attached to my camera all the time, I know that it's got sweet colors on the bottom, right? That's so cool. I'm so glad I paid for that. Yep, live streaming. Now you're inventing a new market for the Red, of course. All right, let's talk about some more of these accessories. Yeah, so waving the handle around. So we also have this one and this one over here. So we've got the Hollyland Mars 400 Pro system right here. I think it's, yeah, 400S Pro. So this is their newest greatest system, and it's got SDI. As you can see, look at that autofocus. Yeah, there you go. So this is from Hollyland, and it's a transmitter and receiver, and they accept SDI ports, which is important because the RED Komodo does not have an HDMI out port. And I can use this to get a wireless a signal wirelessly from SDI and then out via, where is it? HDMI. So I'm going to be using this to wirelessly stream with the RED Komodo. Even though it has a really nice wireless app, that app is not going to be streaming as high quality as I can get with the Mars 400S Pro. And then if I didn't want to use the wireless systems, we got this. So this guy is just like a $50 thing from Blackmagic. It is the Blackmagic Micro Converter SDI to HDMI. All it is, SDI, power, and HDMI. That's it. Real simple. That is going to get the SDI from the RED into the HDMI of the A10 Mini Pro, and then I can live stream it either wired or wireless now. And so that's that whole kit. Hollyland sent me this out to review, and I'll be talking about it during one of the live streams. And I paid for and bought the Blackmagic one because they never want to work with me for some reason. Don't care. They make good stuff. I still have their, I bought their 4-bay SSD drive. I use that as my RAID with a, what is it called? The multi-dock, Thunderbolt multi-dock. So I took four SSDs and I RAIDed them in myself using that Apple software. Works great. I use that one specifically because there's no fans. It's completely silent. And I was able to wall mount it. So it's like flush against the wall with all my other computer stuff. I also use the A10 Mini Pro. I like Blackmagic stuff. They've never worked with me. Don't think they ever will. In fact, even got one of these things, which again, I paid for kind of because I bought it with the, what is it? DaVinci Resolve Studio 17. I needed to get Resolve 17 anyways because I wanted to work with raw footage with the RED and I wanted to work with the 10-bit footage from the A7S3s. So I decided to finally upgrade to the Studio because you can only really work with 8-bit in Studio. It's just kind of, or in the free version, you can only work with the 8-bit footage. So I went ahead and bought this thing, and actually, it's pretty cool. I've only worked with it a little bit so far. I'm trying to get it in the Proby shot. This little jog wheel is really convenient. I just kind of keep it next to my keyboard while I'm editing, or next to my mouse while I'm editing, because I use the edit page to edit in DaVinci Resolve Studio, and the cut page is kind of new to me. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't really love it yet, but the jog wheel is really convenient. So for getting it for free, because I bought Resolve Studio 17, it seems pretty cool so far. I'll have more opinions after I edit more videos with it. And then I've got a couple more things over here, but it's time to take a sip. Yeah, red bottom, like the shoes, like what is it, the Louis Vuittons? Yeah, these are my sexy shoes. I feel it's just nice to hold, you know. It's like I paid for this, so I just want to hold it, and it feels durable. And look, it's got this little thing, so I can like change the direction of it, you know, so I can look at the red stuff while I don't have my camera. Hopefully, it ships when they said it'll ship this time. We'll see. Man, I was this close. I was so close to buying the Stormtrooper edition used from somebody for $7,200, and this was like back in October, but I decided to just save $1,000 and get my own black edition. But now I regret that because I could have already had a bunch of content made on it. So anyways, that would have been a deal. People are selling the regular unopened black edition on eBay now for $10,000 to $12,000. They're scalping the Komodos. People that place brand new orders today on the Komodo, the shipping dates are like April, middle of April or May. So COVID has really hit their industry really hard, and that really, really sucks. It sucks for me because I don't get to play with the camera that I paid for. It doesn't affect my livelihood. I don't derive my income off of filmmaking, so it affects me less than it affects someone who like maybe sold a bunch of their production gear in order to get this camera to get new jobs, and now they're also being delayed months, and that could potentially have put them out of work and put them in a tight spot. And so I feel for them, and I feel bad for them, and I hope that they get their cameras before I do. And let's see, we got a couple of comments here. People commenting, Apple tax is profit margin. Yes, that is true. Ant Pruitt, thanks for showing up, dude. SDI to HDMI to stream, good stuff. I think I need to switch to an A10 Mini. Yeah. Oh, do you mean the actual professional edition, or just like the little one that I have here that I'm switching on? I like this thing a lot. It's really, really handy. And does that camera just move in and out slowly, DoobieX? Yes, it does. So it's on the probe lens over here on a Rhino Arc 2, and I set up a loop, 30-second loop, to just kind of float around and take a shot of what's happening over on the table and get some really cool looking shots of my whiskey. And we have a couple more accessories to look at. So this guy was just announced, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if it was Monday or if it was like Friday, on another guy who makes a bunch of content on RED cameras. Jared actually went on the stream, or not, it wasn't a stream, it was just a video. He showed up and he announced this, was it GDU, Global Dynamics United, this new side handle that has like this little place for a rod in it. So you can stick a little focus wheel on the rod right there. It'll attach to it. So I'm really excited about this. So I got this handle, and look, we can pretend like we're all set up here, like it's a real RED camera. I'm so excited. So he announced that, and I bought it, and then it showed up before my RED camera. I also got this little fun monitor mount. Look at this. This is not actually RED branded stuff. This is Global Dynamics United, but these two things were like $250 shipped. All it does is it's a little piece of metal that attaches a monitor to the top of the camera, and then a little handle that holds a little rod. That's it. $250 out the window. So it's nice to have a budget for the channel, and treating my channel like a business to where I reinvest all the money. Everyone that's bought one of my presets and the coffee things or use my affiliate links, it's all just gone right back into the channel, so I can actually tell you, is this crap worth it? Because this handle is not worth $500. Like, come on. But there's nothing else like it. So if you want something that has a button that will start and stop recording on your Komodo, you have to buy it. These things, these are nice. They're cool. People think that you need to spend thousands of dollars to buy handles and supports and accessories because your camera was $6,000 or $7,000. And because of that, it justifies, oh, well, I spent a lot of money on this thing, so it's going to be more reliable. Hopefully they used better materials and better steel. It's not going to fall apart or break. And I can understand that perspective, but I've bought things for $50 that I've used for years and years and years. A C-stand you can buy for $110, $150. Then you can sell it 10 years later for another $150. I mean, they just retain 100% of the value, and they're built well. I don't understand sometimes why things cost so much money and why people are okay paying that much money. It's just kind of weird. Thank you for the super chat, Ant. No need to read this on air, just showing some support. Yeah, showed you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Roland, Tommy, have you considered making a video with your own advice on green screen lighting? Might be fun to get into some green screen experience, and I know you'd have some unique insights. Oh, well, yeah, that could be enlightening. No, yeah, I've never really done green screen stuff. Although I have plenty of lights in order to do it. I could turn my dark blue background into a green screen just by shining saturated light onto it. That could be fun. Maybe we'll do that. Ivan says, are you doing YouTube full time? Ivan, no, I do not do YouTube full time. Let's take a cheers to that. I'd love to. And that's the goal one day. Oops. But YouTube is strictly just for fun. Just a hobby. Something I do because I love it. It's a passion. I'm a full-time software architect. In fact, immediately after the stream, I have a call that I need to hop on with Vietnam, an offshore development team, for a project for an app that we rebuilt and launched. And we're going through the approval process now. So I do app development, I do systems architecture, databases, PHP, all this boring stuff that is, while I'm really good at it and it pays really well, it's kind of like soul draining work. So it's like once one of these companies that I've invested all this time into sells, then I can stop doing it. But that's startup culture in California. It's hopefully, as a programmer, you always take a piece of equity and you take a fat salary, and then the money stops because they run out of money immediately, and then you don't have work for like 3 months until you find another company that can afford your skills. It's constantly stressful, but it pays the bills. And so anyways, for YouTube, I spend 1.5 hours roughly during the week on these live streams. And then I spend like 4 to 6 hours on the weekends making my weekly video. And sometimes it takes me 2 weeks to make that video. That's all the time that I get. And that time, all the money that the channel makes is completely reinvested into the channel. And so I reviewed lights for a couple of years. And so I ran out of space in my small bedroom studio, which doubles as my day office. And so then I sold a bunch of the stuff that has retired from my production workflow. Stuff that I've reviewed in the past and that I no longer need to talk about or need to use for comparisons. And then that amounted to enough money to purchase the RED Komodo and the Sony a7S III and the lens on the Sony a7S III and then the probe lens. So basically, I reinvested all that money into the channel to review some of start talking about and learning about some of the more advanced and popular cameras, to bring more viewers into the channel, to teach them about lighting and teach them why lighting is important and why they don't need to spend money on this shit, and why they could just, my A-cam is a GH5, a camera I bought 3 years ago now. I pre-ordered that camera, and then it's using the Sigma 18-35, which is one of the best investments on glass that any person can make. In fact, I have a second Sigma 18-35 coming specifically for the RED Komodo. That's another one of the things that I ordered for the Komodo, and it'll be here next week. It is a rehoused Sigma 18-35. It's just the same glass in the photo Sigma 18-35 that I use here that I bought for $500 used. The glass in the one that I have coming that was rehoused is the same. It's not the Cinema Sigma 18-35. It was it's only $1,500 instead of $3,000. So it's half price, and it looks really cool because it's got like the champagne color. It's from PC Hood Cinematics, so I'm really excited to play with it. That's on the way. So trying to save some money, see if anyone else wants to save money too, and I'll show you where to get it, and if it works, if it's worth it, that's coming. So anyways, I've been reinvesting all the money this channel makes back into the channel, and that's kind of my philosophy. Let's see, Red Bottom, like this. Okay, so we reached those comments. Ant says he has a Roland VR 1 HD switcher, seems to be going bad. Figured I could switch to an ATEM Mini. Yes, it's absolutely worth it. Easiest piece of machinery to use for live streaming, and it's very reliable, and it's super fun to play with it on your Zoom calls when someone's like, what are you doing? Why does your camera look so good? And then you're like, switch over to the next camera, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't know, just, something I do. And then you have another production tool that you can actually use, and people will pay you, if this is your industry, to live stream for them. You can take it with you and set up a live stream and make money. That's a huge business, and it's growing because of, the state of the world. A lot of people are using live streaming as a career now, and people pay a lot of money for it because nobody knows how to do it. So it's a great investment. Aaron Parecki, of course, once we start talking about live streams, you show up. I would know it. Roland says, you're right. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on camera handles. Apparently, you only have to spend $500. Yeah. There's also handles for like $80. It'll probably hold the camera just fine. Ant, that Roland looks cool. Yeah. Aaron is the guy to talk to about what equipment you need to buy for live streams. Nils, enjoy your call. Thanks, man. Aaron, gosh, you work late. Yeah, well, when you work with people in 3 different time zones, you kind of work whenever you have to, which is one of the reasons why I always make time for YouTube, is because I know that one day I'll be able to make this channel grow as much as I want it to grow. And it's a learning process. I'm not there yet. I think that I still have a lot to learn, and a lot of that boils down to learning how to tell a story. I think on me is I spent all this time learning how to make a high quality image and how to light things appropriately and the technical aspects of creating content, but I haven't put any emotion into creating that content. I haven't learned how to tell a story, and I haven't learned how to engage with people for a long period of time. So in my more recent content, you'll see me trying to achieve that, where I kind of take you on a journey of discovery with me instead of just reading a script in front of a teleprompter. I've kind of moved past that because I feel like it's not like having a conversation with someone when I'm reading a script on a teleprompter. I feel like a journey of discovery is a lot more engaging, and I'm working on myself. I'm trying to become a better, more fun person for someone to hit subscribe to, right? I think that's everyone's goal, is to improve. And for me, improving is not so much about how to do it. It's about, it's how to, not how to do it technically, but how to do it emotionally, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the secret sauce that makes people blow up. And that's what I'm trying to learn. We got I want to second a request for an exploration of green screen lighting. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll try that. I'll try doing green screen lighting sometime, and maybe some live stream green screening, live stream downstream keying or whatever it is. Aaron can tell you, he knows how to do it. Aaron, it's been pretty nice, easy to control. You guys are talking to each other. Roland, if you have C and assembly experience, I bet you could do something interesting at the intersection of computational photography and lighting. Yeah, C is an interesting language, and I've actually written some electronics and robotics. If you search through my YouTube channel enough, you will find the remote-controlled ice chest that also has a remote-controlled flamethrower that I built with it, and I reprogrammed a couple of hoverboard wheels to work with a CNC machiner's speed controller thing. Like it's this crazy piece of machinery that I went through and programmed. So I could technically probably do some stuff like that, computational photography and lighting, but I don't think that's what I want to do. I think that that's getting back into the code and looking at bugs and working with other people on writing code and, pull requests. And that's not what I want to do. That's what I have to do. I want to do stuff that I want to do. And that's where I'm at right now. I only do it because I have to do it. And that's what I do to make money. I do YouTube because I love it. And I know that eventually I'll be able to do what I love to make money. I was still discovering what I wanted to do when I started writing code. And I discovered that it kind of sucks, even though I'm really good at it. And so that's where that is. Conrad, hats off to you. I only have time to watch videos, let alone make them. Yeah, it's you'll see in a lot of my videos, a lot of what I do and a lot of the setup is about trying to make things save time. I try and put things interesting together, like this thing that's carrying this stand over here. It was all put together to save time, because I don't have a lot of it. That is my thing that I need more of. Aaron, making videos is serious time investment, no joke. Yeah, I probably watch every one of my videos 4 or 5 times through while I'm editing and grading and checking on it. Sometimes more. I just need to get someone to watch it for 5 minutes. And I'm sitting here watching it, for hours and hours and hours and hours, trying to make sure that it's the most engaging as possible. So making videos is a lot of work. I know that some people can do it faster. Some people just hire an editor. Maybe I should do that. Maybe it's worth it. But I don't know if I'm there yet. Aaron, everyone appreciates all the time and effort you and Tommy and Curtis Judd invest into producing all this amazing educational content. It's vital for us inadvertent videographers. Oh, well, thank you, man. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate that, and I'm sure Aaron does too. Roland says, and Photo Joseph too. Yeah, dude, he rocks. And also shout out to Gerald and Dunn and Make Art Now. Those guys are awesome. Every one of those guys, everyone who is a creator who is trying to educate or just try and make it in filmmaking, generally the community is just amazing. So I couldn't ask to be associated with a better group of people. Tealik says, Tommy Calloway, overall, with your lights, do you control them individually or at the light, or do you control them centrally with DMX and at ArtNet? So for my lights, for this stream, I turned them on all individually, except for this little guy, which is the King TV Andromeda Slim Tube. I'm going to leave it like this for a minute. What do you guys think of that all black background? So this one is just I always make fun of this remote because it looks like a freaking toy. But that one I use for the remote control. I've used it for years. It just works really well. If I'm using all aperture lights, then I'll use the iPad with Sidus Link, but I'm currently using the iPad to review the comments section. Everything else is just whatever happens. I've got a couple of remotes for some lights. I really like what Aperture's doing lately with Sidus Link, and so when I am using all Aperture's lights, I just hit Sidus Link and hit, turn on the studio and everything turns on. It's really cool. I would like to get a really nice DMX controller, but I am spending all of my budget on other things lately. Tommy, a lot of the most compelling content essentially takes literally the trope of the hero's journey and applies to the topic at hand. I think that's what you're working towards. Thank you, Roland. Yeah, I agree with you. Ant says, I'm trying to funnel my personal audience to my work audience and vice versa, since they're both content related. Yeah, and that's a tricky business. I've found that mixing business and pleasure can lead to disaster. Sometimes you need to exit a professional relationship, and if that is closely tied to your personal relationships, it can be both financially and personally, emotionally devastating. And at this time, I think that emotional health is something that everyone needs to spend more time on, time with yourself, and learn that it's okay to say no to people, no to companies that are asking you to review crap that you don't want to review, or if you've agreed to something and they ask for changes that you're not okay with. If you get a piece of equipment and you're a tech reviewer and you don't want to review it, it's okay to say no and be like, I don't want to review this. Sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's worth it to send it back and be like, that's off my plate. Screw that. So mixing business and pleasure, if you're in the filmmaker industry and you have clients and you have a YouTube channel, and then you talk about a poor experience you had with the client, then that can get around on both your professional and your personal networks. And, it's just a tricky business. And I'd say try and keep some separation if you have the opportunity to do it. But it's always very tempting to use your professional network to, gain a boost personally. And I understand the draw to that. And I've been guilty of that in the past. It's just be careful, it's hard. And I don't want anyone to wind up in a tricky situation. Kevin, this year has definitely 10x people's ability to move more effective in their craft for sure. Yeah. If you're working a couple jobs, time, figure out ways to save time. Nils says, Ant Pruitt, same, great way to build a foundational audience. That's true. Let's see. Nils, Tommy has gone off the rails. Yeah, thanks, I think. Let's see. Ice chest flamethrower. Yeah, okay. Maybe that was a little off the rails. Roland says, Tommy is a one-man survival research laboratory. They make real-life flamethrowing, metal grinding giant mech robots and fight them in an arena. In fact, if you're familiar with William Osmond, I made that ice chest so I could race his remote-controlled shopping cart is what he made. And so we had like a budget BattleBots scenario in like a back alley, And it's actually really entertaining. I had a lot of fun. And that's actually when I learned that collaborations on YouTube do way less for you than you think that they'll actually do. He's got a couple million subscribers, and I made that video with him. I was on his channel, he was on my channel. We published our videos around the same time, and I got like 100 subscribers out of it. That video that I published has like maybe 10,000 views total. People only watch a particular famous YouTuber for that particular famous YouTuber. They don't care about the people that collaborate with them. They're not going to go off and subscribe to everyone that they talk to. However, William is a great guy. He's one of my personal friends now, and I appreciate the relationship I have with him. And you should never look at people on YouTube as prospects to like valuable treasure or items or ways to or assets or way to grow your channel. One, you don't actually grow, and two, if you're always trying to talk to your friends who are bigger YouTubers than you and say, hey, we should collab, hey, we should do this, hey, you should shout me out, you're going to push them away, and you're not going to create a real friendship with them. And these are people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, even if they're not in the same industry, the same niche. They're in the same industry. They're creators. They deal with cameras. They deal with lighting. They deal with frustrating issues with YouTube and mad comments. And they go through the same things as you. You may have smaller problems than them or different problems, but they still have problems. And as a YouTube channel grows, those problems, they just become different problems. They don't go away. And so if you have a friend who has a lot of subscribers and they're open to doing a collaboration with you, don't try and abuse that. These are real people, and they're some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I consider them really good friends of mine, and I'm happy to be able to call them and just ask for, a friend, not for like a shout out. And so that's some advice that hopefully, if you have a channel that maybe you can take to heart. Let's take a drink. Oh man, that camera is freaking dead. That's cool. Well, no, it's not dead. I hit the wrong button. We're good. Boom. Look at that. Ah, double drink. Oh boy. Okay. The name that is in a language that I don't know how to pronounce the letters says, "You rock, man. I work as a software engineer, but for fun, I help my wife with her videos for YouTube. I start to think that one day taking a break and going full-time into video production for fun." Dude, that's the dream, man. I would love to do this full-time. Now that's really weird because I made some videos for her business, my wife's business. She prints vinyl, and she makes vinyl decals, and she sells vinyl. And that is a material that crafters use with crickets or silhouettes to make decals on walls or fancy cups or things on tumblers. It's craft material. And she has some new products that are like, it's called Sunshift Vinyl. And essentially when UV light hits it, it changes colors. And she was the first person in the United States to get it. So I took a week off of work and made some videos for her. I made her a TikTok, and I made a couple of videos because I know how to make videos. And the video that did the best on that TikTok was filmed with my iPhone really quick. It was 15 seconds, and it got 1.2 million views. And this is when she only, the TikTok only had 12 subscribers or followers or whatever. And that got her several thousands of dollars of pre-orders on this product, and it was extremely successful. I didn't use any of my sweet camera gear, my awesome lights, anything. It's such a weird way to consider that if you're trying to create marketing content that goes viral on social media, all this camera stuff doesn't fucking matter, right? That's so weird. I can make the sweetest video. It'll be in 40-bit color with 1 billion frames per second, and you'll be able to see the heartbeat on everyone in the stadium. Nobody cares, right? You just got to be able to tell a story, something that catches someone's interest really quick. It's really interesting, and they're like, wow, that's it. And you can do that in 15 seconds, and you can make a business out of that. All this stuff doesn't matter. And I spent the money on the gear because that's, the channel that I have, and that's something that I enjoy. It's super fun. I love it. Other people love it. And for certain applications, you do need that gear. If you had a Netflix show that was just TikTok clips, that wouldn't go so well. Unless you're like Tosh.0. But, for some applications it's important. But for others, if you're trying to do social media marketing, then it doesn't matter. You just have to know different things. You have to know how to use a camera. You have to, what makes a good story. That's the most important thing. It's so weird. Yeah. So I also help my wife with her business, is what I'm getting at. Let's see. We got good point regarding emotions and it being tricky. Yes. Thank you. Here we go. Roland says, do you create plots and characters and story arcs, or are you drawn to helping others realize their artistic visions via your cinematography and lighting? Well, I don't do plots and characters and story arcs. What I found is what I found is for me to naturally create a story arc is to not learn too much about a thing and to not write a script. Take some bullet points, learn about a product enough to educate the audience about the technical features, have a post-it note of things that I want to cover. But then as I pick the product up to make a video, I'll have an idea in mind of something that I want to do with it. Like, I want to achieve this thing by the end of this video. So if you were to buy this thing now, you would know how to do this thing that I just did. And that kind of naturally for me has been creating somewhat of a story arc. Like that 31 minute video that I did on all the different lights from 0 to 100, 100 to 150, all the way up to like $5,000+. I thought about it for about 30 minutes and I was like, there's no real kind of video like that. And so I wrote down the lights that I would have picked, but I didn't write anything else down about them. I just kind of, wrote down these lights are kind of in that category. And then I just winged it, right? And I think that's going to be one of the best videos I've done all year, and it'll probably get 100,000 views in the next 6 months just through search and recommendations. It's currently getting 10 minutes of watch time on average, which is way higher than anything I've ever done. So I'm still learning how to do this, and I think that people like to come on a journey with me more than being told what a thing is. And also, I'm still learning how to do thumbnails and titles better. People don't search for XYZ review unless it's like the Sony a7S III. People want to know, like, what's the best camera under $1,000, because they're searching for that. They're not searching for XYZ brand new Olympus camera, even though they're out of business. How is it? I don't know. Carlos, thanks for showing up. Hello, why did you choose the Komodo and not the C70? Let me tell you why. Look at this, man. Look how sick that color right there. Man, this is like so nice. Like the handle was $500, and I can put this handle in front of someone who bought a C70 and be like, yo, this handle cost $500. No, I'm kidding. I picked the Komodo because I think it's the most interesting camera that's available for $6,000 right now. It has a global shutter, and that applies to lighting because if you have, for any other camera that has rolling shutter, you will get banding if there's flicker. And with a Komodo, instead of getting banding, you'll be getting the entire screen will be flashing or flickering instead of the weird banding artifacts you'll get. So the flicker will look different, and that's easier to process out in post. Also, the rolling shutter doesn't exist on a global shutter. So that's really important for moving subjects. Even though rolling shutter is improving, it's not going to fix global shutter. It's not going to ever achieve what global shutter can achieve, because rolling shutter is not the speed of light, and so the flicker reason will still always exist. Also, the RED global shutter in the Komodo, that sensor it's a brand new sensor. I think it's the first RED camera that has a global shutter in like a super duper long time, maybe ever, unless you are also including the global shutter attachment for their previous cameras, which was also several thousands of dollars. So it has the reason why most of the cameras are rolling shutter is because to achieve extremely high dynamic range with a global shutter is very difficult. Usually the dynamic range is very low with a global shutter, and the way they've designed the shutter in the Komodo, they're able to both achieve very high dynamic range. They used RED's color science, and it's a global shutter. So that's why I picked the RED Komodo. It also just so happens that it's affordable, it's small, and will work with a bunch of lenses that I already own. So that worked out. And also I have the Sony a7S III, so I don't need the C70. If I was going to get something that was like the C70, I would simply get the FX6 because it uses the same lenses as the Sony a7S III. That's why I went with the Komodo. Roland says, the BattleBots thing sounds awesome. We'll have to check it out. Thank you. Nils, generate value for them. I don't know what that was referring to. I think that we're probably a little bit past that by now. Edgardo says, Rotolite arrive, and your thoughts? No, that's another thing that we have coming into the studio. We got some more lights and stuff coming. The Rotolite Titan has not shipped yet. I think it'll ship next week. I was getting a little thirsty. So the Rotolite Titan, I guess it's shipping next week. However, we have the hang on one second. It's the RGB WCL panel from Kale. It's the Kale panel from. I've had too much. I drink too much. I don't remember the name of the company, but it's the KL panel is the name of the panel, and it's RGB WCL. It's if you search for that, you'll find it. It's the only panel that's available in that price range that does that. In fact, it's one of the only panels that does that, period. So most panels are RGB WW, red, green, blue, white, white, or white, amber, white, tungsten. This one is red, green, blue, white, cyan, and lime. So there's 6 colors, so it achieves better color accuracy, similar to the Orbiter. I think the Orbiter has 7 chips though. Anyways, it'll be a much more accurate panel, and it only costs as much as $1,700. And they claim, it's a 300 watt panel, so it's going to be about as bright as the Nova. Very interested to see what that panel offers. The company that has built this panel has been in stage lighting for a very, very long time, so they're not a newcomer to lighting. This is just their first foray, I think, into actual cinema lighting. They also make like haze machines and stuff like that. So I'm excited about that one. That one will be here tomorrow. But also we have the Kale panel. We have the Titan X1 showing up soon. That'll be shipping, I guess, next week. Good morning from South Africa. Thanks for showing up, JK139. Kevin says Dan Tommy is dropping knowledge bombs. Conrad, when you zoom with Vietnam offshore team, do you use this lighting cinema camera setup? I don't use my Komodo as webcam. He's a very, very basic DSLR. No, dude. I haven't done the offshore zoom with this ridiculous setup. Can you imagine if I had like a slider cam for them and I was like drinking whiskey? I'm like, what's going on, Vietnam? No, I don't do that. I just use regular webcam. But I mean, they see the studio equipment and I use good lighting, but I don't usually turn on the cameras for them. Kevin, LOL, all I do is produce YouTube content for brands, so I guess I'm sort of living the dream. Damn straight, dude. That's the dream. Just YouTube content for brands. I would love to do that full time. So I have to replace, getting back into that subject a little bit, I have to replace my full-time software architecture job in Southern California with YouTube, which realistically sounds ridiculous, right? So I mean, if I have 200,000 subscribers, I think maybe I'll be able to do it. So we're like like a fifth of the way there, really, honestly. We'll get there eventually. Roland, Conrad says, why don't you use your Komodo's webcam? That's the ultimate video conferencing flex. Dude, can you imagine? Hang on, guys. I got to change the V-mount on the back of my webcam. I have a V-mount battery plate coming for the Komodo as well. It's not here yet, though, so I haven't talked about it. Nils says, also enables fun cameos like in Gerald's videos. He doesn't ask his peers for collab only. He finds creative ways to integrate them into his videos, sometimes knowledge for other times. Yeah, working with other creators is one of the coolest things on YouTube. You know, seeing other creators work together and being invited in those situations, it's really cool. Conrad is talking back to Roland now. See, Kevin says, I know exactly what you mean. When it comes to viral content, I'll dump a ton of effort into video for social for a client and it'll get good engagement, but the stuff they do on their phones crushes. Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. People want to experience stuff with you. They don't want to be experienced at. I don't know if that explains it. Nils, it's really fun to see colleagues' faces when they zoom with their $20 built-in webcam and you join with dope lighting and DSLR hooked up. Yeah, I do use it sometimes on some calls, but not on the everyday ones. Ben S, you sound so American with decal. That's not how you guys say it. It's decal over here. Decal? I don't know what you guys say. I'm just gonna, maybe the D's silent. Maybe it's just cals. Nah. Let's see. Thanks. My wife is a beauty makeup channel and gear picture lights do matter. She has the best picture in Russian segment of beauty YouTube. My name is Igor. Cheers. Oh, thanks, Igor. Yeah. So for certain industries, yes, lighting and camera certainly matters, particularly in beauty because you want to look beautiful. Conrad, I took a call with Vimeo recently and their sales engineer is rocking a C300 Mark II. I noticed right away. Guess it makes sense. That's interesting. Yeah, you know, you can always tell when someone has a hobby in filmmaking and then like you get on a call with them and it's just like Tona or bokeh for those of you that are uninitiated. Roland says, Conrad, Sony's EV1 is a great self-contained decent camera. Yeah, I don't have any experience with the Sony's EV1, so I'm not going to jump in on that. Ansys has a good evening, good day, everyone. Thanks for the chat. Mr. Tommy got a TD show in the morning. Can try and sleep. Well, Ant, thanks for showing up. Appreciate you. Roland says, Tommy, that epic video you created is well epic. It is your best single piece so far, and the expertise you acquired and enthusiasm you evinced are very compelling. Please keep it up. Thank you, Roland. I appreciate that. I am super proud of that video, that huge light showdown. Do you buy the red thing about, oh, our sensors don't have a native ISO? That's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. I've not really worked with any red raw files yet, so I couldn't tell you that. But I guess here's the way I would see it, right? Maybe they record all the ISOs at the same time, and that's why you can pick any ISO. I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe it's just ISO is just digital gain, right? So maybe that's how it works. Maybe they've just hatched the code where they record all the info. I think it works. Maybe they have a native ISO where there's the least amount of noise in that particular setting. But I don't know. It's all magic in cameras to me. I don't even get paid for this stuff. How would I know that, right? Let's see. I chose the Komodo over the Canon due to better rigging options, larger batteries, low latency Wi-Fi for phone control, color science with in-camera RAW, R3D, and global shutter in that order. Good choices. Ergonomics, that's also another good one. Yeah, Port Keys Technology Limited. Thanks for showing up, guys. How do you think the Komodo and the C70, which one more worth to buy? 100% the Komodo. I think that the Komodo is, well, currently the Komodo is selling on eBay for, $10,000 if just the black editions, because they're having a hard time keeping up with manufacturing. I think that the RED camera is going to, one, hold more value for longer, And two, I think that camera is going to land more professional gigs. If you had two identical people show up and they said, I have a Canon C70 or I have a RED, I think that they're going to say, oh, I want the RED guy. Yeah, I want it shot on RED. Duh. I mean, that's clearly, if you're a professional, there's clearly more value in that. So in my mind, I think that the C70 came out too late. Forrest, I use the F6 as my webcam with a V-mount. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I want to get one of the Blackmagic, what is it? The 4K camera, Pocket Cinema cameras, just for webcam, because I don't think I'd ever use it for anything else. I think that it would be nice to have one permanently just plugged into the wall, use it as a webcam. Conrad says, yeah, the $500 outrigger handle is solid, but I confess I'm jealous with the FX6. Perfect, except color science and file format sucks. Yeah, dude, this handle, you got to find, you know what you should do is they have to make an adapter to where you can use this RED outrigger handle for the Komodo with other cameras. I think that is going to be money right there, right? If you can show up with this thing, be like, yo, I got the outrigger handle, like, you know, on your GH5. This handle's awesome. Roland, I do video conferencing with the Sony ZV-1 810 Mini Pro and green screen and video loop backgrounds plus lower thirds bug. Helps establish video conferencing dominance, right? People show up with their little built-in Zoom backgrounds and you're like showing up with an actual green screen setup. Yeah. Kevin says, you blew my mind when I looked over your sub count. I swore you had over 200K already. Your content is great and you deliver such great reviews and explanations. Well, Kevin, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. You get a cheers, ka-cling, boom, cheers the camera. No, the thing is like in focus and I cheersed it. That probe lens, I'm telling you. And with that, we're about empty for the evening. So that means the stream is about to come to an end. Forrest, if you know anyone with an FX, says, if you know anyone with an FX F6, that would be a really interesting comparison against the Komodo. I'm getting a hold of one this weekend to do my own tests and excited to have both on set. Yeah, you know, I almost went with the F6 instead of the A7S III because I wanted to do comparisons against those, but I decided that the A7S III would probably make more money in terms of reinvesting into the channel. I think that more people are going to be searching for content about that camera, and therefore I'll get more views, more subscribers, more affiliate revenue, have a larger budget for the channel to reinvest into content, which is the sole reason why I did not go with the FX6 or F6, whatever it is. iAdventures, what do you think about the Zcam E2 F6 over the RED Komodo? I don't know. I think Zcam is, I don't hear anyone talking about it, and so I haven't personally researched it. Durin says, if you're using GDO handles, something's wrong. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty durable, right? This is the Global Dynamics United. It's got a little spot. The only reason I got it is because it's a handle that has a rod mount attached to it, so you can stick a follow focus on there. So when I need to use a follow focus, this handle is perfect for that, and so that's what I'm going to do. Kevin Lee, funny story. The reason why I got into creating YouTube content for brands was because I almost got in a really bad car accident on my way back to work one morning. Quit my career and went full-time YouTube. Damn, dude, that's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome. That's awful. But I think that's awesome that pushed you into doing something that you wanted to do. You know, everything happens for a reason sometimes, I guess. Do it. I mean, I'm doing it every week, every weekend, doing as much as I can to get there. Everyone's got their own journey. Roland, great session as always. Thanks for taking the time to shoot the breeze with us. Really appreciate your time and effort. Thank you, Roland, for showing up. And thank you, Duran2, for your comment about if you're not... Oh, I see what you're saying. So if you're not using GDO handles, something's wrong. Cool, yeah. Good handle. Solid. And last one of the probe lens shot. By the way, as a reminder, this is on the probe lens at f14 on the A7S III. The reason it looks super solid, and even though the GH5 is f1.8, is because the A7S III has 12,800 ISO performance. That's at the wazoo. Obviously, this is not color graded. This is straight out of camera into the live stream. There's no noise reduction happening here. This is what you see on the A7S III at 12,800 ISO. And if you want to learn more about the capabilities of the probe lens in the A7S III, go watch my most recent video right now, which talks about the crazy rig that I built for this camera and this lens. It's awesome. I worked really hard on it. The watch time on that video is only like 3 minutes for some reason, so maybe skip ahead and watch the actual shot. That's really interesting. I timestamped it so you can see where the tutorial happens. I think that's probably my favorite part, where you can see all these awesome probe lens shots I did of the 300X, changing colors and stuff. So go watch that. It's awesome. 5-minute guide. Damn it, I missed it. Well, you're still here. You made it. You get a shout out. Thanks for showing up, man. Conrad, for the GD handle, what kind of follow focus you're going to use? I don't know yet. I'm going to see if I can get a company to send me one for free so I can talk about it and see if it's worth it. If not, I'll probably go with the Tilted Nucleus Nano option. We'll see. And Thomas says, very much appreciate your great content. Thank you, Thomas. You're almost Tommy, so you've got a cool name. And Mr. Camera Junkie, hi, Tommy Calloway. Thanks for showing up. All right, speed through these. Cool. We're out of here. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate you and everything you all do for watching my videos. Thanks for clicking all my stupid links, and see you in the comments. See you next week. Same time. Peace. Tommy out.